How can we leave this place rarely seen? Now we're back home, marked with love like a stain. And after you left, I guess I'd be right in saying only cold hearts make snow from the rain. It's so lonely between the teardrops, like we're downstream from what's meant to be. I'm so lonely between the teardrops. He's got you, it's lonely teardrops for me. Now can a peacock be prouder for knowing a life examined if just for today? I'm back in Nashville, that ain't Kansas City, and no Bolinas were no signs lead the way. It's so lonely between the teardrops, like we're downstream from what's meant to be. I'm so lonely between the teardrops. He's got you, it's lonely teardrops for me. It's so lonely between the teardrops, like we're downstream from what's meant to be. I'm so lonely between the teardrops. He's got you, it's lonely teardrops for me. He's got you, it's lonely teardrops for me.
Hi, I'm Monica Mansfield, and you're watching Mostly Rock and Roll. I have the distinct pleasure today of having as our guests on Mostly Rock and Roll, Pushing Chain, which is a wonderful duo from Minnesota made up of Boyd Blomberg and Adam Moe. Thank you, you two, for being here today and driving all the way from Minnesota to come here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Did the miles fly by on your
They
drive?
flew by. We were just thinking, we're going to go see Monica.
That's right.
That's it. Well, you two are just a delight, and your personas are just so wonderful, but also your music is terrific. It's so great,
Thank you.
so much fun, it's solid, wonderful songs, well written, beautifully implemented, and the two of you have put up with each other for 20 years, right?
How about that?
We had our anniversary last March.
Wow. Wow. And what started the journey together with the two of you?
Well, he lived across the street from me, actually, up in Grand Marais, Minnesota. And we were always told, you guys should get together and play. And so we did one time, and it's all downhill after that.
I was playing a wedding that weekend for some friends, and I said, I asked them if I could bring a fiddle player along that I'd been playing with, which was one time for about 2 hours. They said, sure. And next thing you know, here we are.
What a beautiful combination. You know, the two of you just bring so much to the table together that's one's different from the other, but it just mixes so well. Your harmonies in and out, and your it's a really great combination. And
Thank you.
We played each other's weaknesses.
Yeah, that's right. The goal is usually to try and make a third better thing out of two subpar things. And
Right.
so you make a little bit better by doing
That's
it
the
together.
Minnesota self-deprecation right there.
It was spring in the hills, the year of 58. I was 14 years old when I learned to ride that pain. The cowpox took Pa and my little sister too. Well, I knew right then, yeah, what I had to do. No, I am a cowboy out riding in the range. I see stars up above, spelling out your sweet name. I could be back in some old town with you by my side. Well, as cowboys were born to ride. So as I wrapped up my bedroll, Pa's coat was on my side. Mama kissed me on the cheek, here's warm biscuits for the ride. Lit out two Joe's Cleaves for your large concern. Had a tear in my eye and it still burns. No, I am a cowboy out riding in the range. I see stars up above, spelling out your sweet name. I could be back in some old town with you by my side. Well, as cowboys were born to ride, yeah. When I got to Joe's Cleaves, he said, sure you wanna ride, son? It's hard work and it's tough for a man twice your size. Yes, I surely knew that as I walked through your door. Well, the cowboy's life for me and nothing more. No, I am a cowboy out riding in the range. I see stars up above, spelling out your sweet name. I could be back in some old town with you by my side. Well, as cowboys were born to ride, yeah. We're now up and round fences, every gulch and every draw, every canyon that holds water, all went long before the thaw. I must turn me toward the town life when I met Miss Laura Lee. Never settle down, that ain't no life for me. No, I am a cowboy out riding in the range. I see stars up above, spelling out your sweet name. I could be back in some old town with you by my side. Well, as cowboys were born to ride. Yes, cowboys were born to ride. I said cowboys were born to ride.
So, Boyd, when you write most of the music, would you say that that's the case?
That is the case.
And then, Adam, you fill in the violin parts, or do you write the violin parts for him?
Oh, no,
It has
no.
nothing to do with that.
I have nothing to
Just
do with that. I don't have anything to do with his harmony decisions
Nice.
either. I mean, we discuss things a little bit after I write something, and then we were just mentioning to Mark, actually, a little earlier, about, he's like, well, how do you rehearse? We live about 2 hours away from each other, but we play a couple hundred gigs a year, so we're together all the time. And so rehearsing a lot just doesn't seem like that great of a thing to do. So, you know, we, on gigs, not like a house concert, for instance. But sometimes we still play things in the middle of the week where we're filling something in, routing, and there are TVs on, and it's a brew pub or something. So then we can kind of rehearse things.
Those
there.
places where we're not as loud as the bar,
Right.
we can rehearse a couple things.
So then, anyway, back to, and then he'll try things out, and we'll discuss a little bit, you know, because that's one of the things we hang our hats on is the blood harmony, or like brother harmony, even
So
though we're
tight.
not brothers.
Yeah. Ah.
So we try to get that, and the way Adam runs the harmonies, he's not always singing a parallel third.
Right.
He's moving around quite a bit,
Love it.
as do I. So it kind of takes stage time really to polish them, to kind of figure out how they're going to sit eventually.
Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes we'll have a third person come in and sing, and it's really hard for me because I sing a bunch of different things. So I have to decide, am I going to be higher, am I going to be middle, or what, you know, we have to
Right.
talk it out because I don't really play by the rules that way.
Right.
You rule breaker, you.
I am. I
Breaker.
break them.
When you're writing music, do you have shoes on your feet?
Often not. I'm lucky to have clothes on.
The best songs come
I
from
like-
pure naked soul, right? You didn't want to hear that.
No, I write in the morning often, so sometimes I'll see right in that in between time when you're almost awake. I'll grab a guitar and I do you know, kind of just mumbly verses, and I'll have something, and so I try to get that time, and then after my first pot of coffee in the morning, then I'll sit down and give something a go as well. So.
Have you ever had, in that lucidity of dreams, a song come to you and then you had that be a
Yeah,
good thing?
not like it. I have a hard time remembering my dreams. It's in that after I've been awake and then kind of did the tuck and roll and then gone back, you know.
The tuck and roll. After the crossword puzzle.
Right,
Yeah.
and then sometimes it's like that in between land. But I have never, you know, woke up and remembered a dream and, you know.
Lenny
all the
Kravitz
time.
just has a new CD, and he was saying a whole song on there was one that was.
Evidently, you can train yourself to remember your dreams, but most males I know dream in black and white and not
Really?
color. Yeah.
You know, Salvador Dali used to lay down, take naps with a spoon in his hand, and then have his hand hanging off the sofa. And when the spoon fell, when he fell asleep, then he'd wake up to the spoon and he'd quick jot down everything that was in his head. That was
Whoa.
where he got a lot of his stuff.
Interesting.
That's not what he does.
That's not what I do. No melty clocks.
No
in my-
melty, very few melty clocks.
Please listen to the story. It's one that I know well. About a broken man who lost his way and came back home to tell how he spent what seemed a lifetime shackled to a jailhouse floor. How the key was passed to him and walked right out the jailhouse door. Son, don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. When you're in a hole and you're sinking low and feel your spark about to dim, just around the time the bow should break, go out on another limb. But don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. Troubles, we all know troubles, some we gather when we're young. And they're like a noose that tightens around your neck, and soon you're being hung right out to dry. So he told me of thoughts that filled his head. He said, I was so sick and low and afraid to die, and I knew where those lies had led. Son, don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. When you're in a hole and you're sinking low and feel your spark about to dim, just around the time the bow should break, go out on another limb. But don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. As he poured my cup of coffee, his eyes, they spoke to me. Our life is like a treasure now, he gives away for free. From all those hard-earned lessons he keeps hidden in a drawer. Sometimes he takes them out to look, but won't live that way no more. Son, don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. When you're in a hole and you're sinking low and feel your spark about to dim, just around the time the bough should break, go out on another limb. But don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. Just about the time the bough should break, you're out on another limb. But don't try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim. Never try and drown your sorrows, 'cause sorrows always swim.
Adam, how long have you been playing the fiddle?
I started in second grade, is what I tell people. I'm pretty sure that's true. It's second or third, but in that area.
What is the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
This is brilliant.
It's a fiddle when you buy it, and it's a violin when you're trying to sell it. How about that? huh?
That was good. Have you
clean
ever
one,
said that
too.
answer before?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's one of the pat answers.
That's,
There's also a fiddle has beer spilled on it. There's a violin has a case. There's a whole bunch of answers to that. A lot of times my answer to that is, maybe you should Google that.
Your viewer,
Or Bing it.
Your viewers may be interested to know Adam's playing 5-string, so he's got a low C. Most violins have 4 strings, so it's part viola, part violin. So he's got a low C string that get way down in there. Yeah.
Yep.
what other instruments do you play, Adam?
I play the ukulele, and that's about it. I generally
Flute.
write on ukulele.
Flute.
Not flute. No, I don't play the flute.
Your vocals are beautiful.
Thank
Have you
you.
been a singer for a long time as well?
Yeah.
He's
but
a thespian.
I've been on stage since I was a little tiny kid. So, really, at this point in my life, I kind of just feel like I'm playing the role of a musician and singer. It's kind of how I look at it. It feels weird, but it's true. And this is just the one that stuck. So.
Year after year, I've played the fool, never given too much thought about knowing all the rules. Now day by day, I've come to know what a real love can be when it beckons from below. And if you should ever want to see me again, you say the future's long and now waiting on an end. If you should ever want to see me again, tell me when and where, and I promise I'll be there. Mile after mile, I drove all night to your door. When all is said and done, who am I to want some more? Now inch by inch, I'm crawling out of this lonesome hole where I've been living, note to note. If you should ever want to see me again, you said the future's long and now we're waiting on an end. If you should ever want to see me again, tell me when and where, and I promise I'll be there. Baby, I know you really care. Baby, I know you're playing fair. Baby, I know someday you'll tell me when and where. And this I promise, I'll be there. If you should ever want to see me again, you said the future's long and now we're waiting on an end. If you should ever want to see me again, tell me when and where, and I promise I'll be there. Just tell me when and where, and I promise I'll be there.
This CD, what are your hopes for this, Boyd?
We just are looking to get up one more rung of the ladder. You know, better gigs, more airplay, more opportunities to play in front of more people.
We have so much to be proud of, the two of you together. And then before this CD, you have the Pushing Change CD, which came out in 2014.
Our self-titled.
Very popular CD. So speaking of Pushing Chain, what is the old farmers saying about Pushing Chain?
It's a saying of futility. It's
Futility?
Futility.
Not
It's,
utility?
not utility at all.
Utility.
It's you can't push chain. You know, you can't make water run uphill. You can't push chain.
That's very clever, you guys. We'll
Yeah,
leave it
know
at that.
ourselves. The Boyd and Adam show, which is
Yeah,
what
that's
it's,
nobody cares about that.
This CD is gorgeous, and it's so tight, and you drove down to Texas,
Austin,
Texas, and you had some incredible musicians on there with you, and it's called Sorrows Always Swim.
It is.
I would love to hear how this experience was for you while you were recording, and I would also love to hear how it feels just to have this baby done and ready. Adam, you can.
Well, I'm real pleased with how it turned out, for sure. You never really know, but when we were in there was kind of a feeling like I think we got something here. You know, all those guys that had been in the studio longer than I've been alive, then it felt good, you know, when it was going down. And the way it turned out, I was real happy with it.
So great.
And that's part of the feel that we went for. I mean, we could have made a great album in Minnesota in the Twin Cities area. We have a lot of friends who've been in the business for a long time, recording engineers. But there was just something about going down to the Congress House studio, which is the oldest running studio in Austin, Texas, and the players that we had. Our friend Bill Kirshen played and co-produced with Mark Holman, the owner of the studio, and Mark played on as well. Rick Richards on drums, Dave Carroll on bass, and then Red Volkert came in and played guitar on one of the songs as well. So it just felt right, and they're great musicians, and they had a feel of for the music that we were trying to play, the songs that
It was
presented.
the choice that made sense with those songs. I mean, we had these songs sitting around, and we were waiting for the right way to do them.
Fantastic.
And the right way to do them, we decided, was to go to Texas and, you know, make a twangy Texas country album, because that's what those songs called for. If we had a different batch of songs, we may not have, you know, gone down there. It just didn't. But we kind of pounded the pavement down there and tried to find the right situation, and this was the right situation. It all
That's
fell
fantastic.
It fell into place. It took a little longer than we wanted, but it fell into place.
It's wonderful. It's a fantastic CD, and I would highly encourage
you.
any listeners or watchers of this to partake thereof. It can easily get into one's body and mind, and you hear it all day, you know, certain songs, because and they're pleasant. They're so pleasant to keep hearing over and over again. But you two, I wish you safe travels on your way back, and we're always here for you if you ever want to stop by again and have another 22-hour drive.
We'll be back.
Down along Lake
We'll be
Michigan.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Thanks for
Well,
having
thank
us,
you.
Monica.
Thank you, you too.
All
Thank
right.
you.